y'all gotta excuse my appearance. I'm never camera ready, but I'm always God's ready. You hear me? Let me say that again. I'm never camera ready, but I'm always God ready. Today I wanted to talk to y'all about living angels on earth. And I'm sure a lot of you probably have experienced that there are some very good people. I got 3 birds following my car. I wish y'all could see it. It's 3 birds just chasing my truck, okay? As I'm starting this video. I take that as a sign. So, a lot of people have experienced living angels on earth. I know I have, because I consider some things done through individuals as nobody but God. You know what I'm saying? And God put people in place at a certain time for a reason. And when I say that because you ever had something happen and it could have been worse than what it was if certain people wasn't there? It could be absolute strangers, people you don't even know, and you notice like the reason why things weren't as worse as it could have been was because God put those people in position. I say that because during the car wreck that I was in, there was people in position. God knew already. He knew. And he already had told me months before this that these things were going to happen. I'm going to tell you what I experienced. I experienced this dream. Okay? It was a dream about a whole bunch of people on a bus. And while we were driving on that bus, it was like the bus went off the road. And as it went off the road, you know, the first thing I'm screaming, if you don't know me, is, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. That's the first thing I holler if something is going on. Or, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So while the bus was going over, I was hollering to God. And all of a sudden, we were saved. In that dream, right? Now, I didn't have this dream once. I had this dream twice. Then there was another dream that I had. Wait, no, this wasn't a dream. This was real life. So the car that we ended up having an accident in had a crack in the windshield. You know how a rock hits your windshield and then it hit it and then it starts to crack a little bit more every time you drive it. It seems like it gets bigger and bigger. So as we driving in this car, months before the accident even occurred, the part of the crack was like right between the top and the middle. Like not between the top and the middle, but from the top to the bottom of the dashboard. And while I was riding in that car, I would be on the passenger side most of the time. And I always looked at this crack, and it always said to me, something in my mind always said, if this windshield, if we go over a bump, and that bump is hard enough, that shield can cave in. I always thought about that while we was riding that car, just looking at that crack in that window and thinking that that windshield could fall in any time just by going over a bump, because there was nothing to secure it. That part of the window will actually cave in, right? So that's what I used to think about when we were riding in that car. And I always used to brace myself and think and pay attention, right? Every time, it just never failed. Then one day, first, let me not say this one first, but the same place or the same highway, which they call a very dangerous highway, a haunted highway. People who live here in this place always say that that's a bad highway, that they don't like going up that highway. They don't like that highway. This same highway, I used to have to go up and down this highway to go to work every day that I had to work in a whole nother town. And where I was going, it always took me about 30 minutes to get to work and 30 minutes to get home on that highway. I promise y'all, it's crazy. But every time I drove that highway, I cried like a baby. I promise you, I cried on that highway. Before this even happened, I used to cry on that highway. I'm talking about crying and praying at the same time so hard, y'all. It was like I was hurting, but it was a normal day. I don't know why, but it was like I was crying every time. And one day we was driving on that highway, and right close to where we had a wreck, close to this area where the wreck occurred, okay? Close to that area. One day we was driving, and I started feeling like I couldn't breathe. It was like something was choking me, choking the air out of my neck. Like, for real, like I couldn't breathe. And I was looking out the window in the passenger seat, just looking out the window, and I'm just like, and I'm trying to catch my breath. I'm trying to breathe. And I told my boyfriend at the time, I said, hey, I can't breathe. Take me to the hospital. And he looked at me and he said, what? Like that, I said, I don't know what's wrong, but I can barely breathe. Take me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they told me I was having a severe anxiety attack. And this severe anxiety attack, remember, came on like around the area where we was having the wreck, where we had the wreck. But the severe anxiety attack happened weeks before the wreck even happened. So remember, here's the clues. I mean, I say clues because God do everything for a reason. Okay? He tell you before everything. Warning before destruction. So I was, after the anxiety attack, we was driving like weeks later after the anxiety attack. We was driving to the same location back to the town where I worked at, from the place where I lived at, up that highway, that same highway that I cried all the time on, the same highway where I had the anxiety attack. We was driving up that highway and we was having a discussion about family, me and my ex. He was talking about how his family don't do this, don't do that, and I was explaining to him how my family don't do this, don't do that, meaning they don't be there when you need them. That's what we was discussing about, and I was telling him how he should be grateful because he see his family and talk to his family way more than I do. His family be there for him or in his life way more than mine do. You know, that's what we was discussing. But before we started discussing that, we was having an argument on that highway. On the way to where we were going. We were actually headed to the bank in a whole nother city. We were both having a credit union in a whole nother city. That city where I worked at. So while we were having this argument, when we got there, we was just like not even wanting to talk to each other, you know. And something just, I don't know, I guess I wanted to stop to get a Little Caesars pizza. We went to Little Caesars, grabbed the pizza, and got on the highway to come back to the house. The same highway, y'all. We were riding back. I was sleepy. I got a text message. I'm the passenger now. I'm in the passenger seat. I'm sleepy. I got a text message from one of my homegirls. And as I'm getting the text message, I look down and I start texting. After I replied to her text message, I laid my phone down, put my leg up in the window like I always do so I could feel the air on my foot. Some told me to take your feet down and open your eyes. I took my foot down, opened my eyes, and I seen a truck coming around another truck in front of us. You know how people try to go around and hurry up and get past another car? That's what this truck was doing. It was like a pickup truck with the back out. And as he came around this other truck, which was a U-Haul truck, like a moving truck, he was coming around that truck, and it was so close, like a head-on collision. My boyfriend swerved to the right. As he swerved to the right, we was going on to some, I don't know what, if it was gravel or if it was what it was, but I could see the car just go like this, felt it. And then all of a sudden we just went back the other way. I don't know what in the world convinced, I don't know. I don't know if he just turned the wheel too hard, or if we just swerved over that way because of how the car jerked so quick. He was trying to keep control of the vehicle. I'm going to say that. I definitely know for sure he was trying to keep control of that vehicle, you know, that we was in. But it happened so fast because the man came around the truck, almost hit us. We swerved over and still ended up in front of that U-Haul truck, and that U-Haul truck hit us on my side. I seen the truck coming, and all I could say was, "Oh my God." That's all I could say. After "oh my God," it was boom. All I know, I was leaned over to the side. I could barely breathe. I couldn't lift my head up. I couldn't see nothing but everything that was from the side. I could see from looking down with my eyes, from the way I was laying like this, I could see the passenger window. I seen this young lady from where we live at. She was on the highway for some reason. I seen her, and I remember her face because she went to church with us, with me. She went to church with me, and I could see her standing right there. And I'm like, you know, just looking, and she's saying something, but all I can hear is ringing in my ears. And as my ears started to get sound, I hear my boyfriend screaming, "Help us, baby, 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 you okay, you okay?" But I don't see him. So obviously he's still on the driver's side trying to come around. But I see her, and she said, "You want me to call somebody?" And I couldn't say nothing because I could barely breathe. And I think it was because of the position of my neck. I couldn't hardly breathe. So I say God put angels in position, because there was one lady who was on that highway, was a nurse. And if that lady wouldn't have never came over there and told them that they need to sit my head up and hold my head up in position, I was not going to be able to breathe much longer. I kept gasping for air, kept trying to breathe. And if this lady wouldn't have never came and hold my head in position and sit my neck up, I wouldn't have been able to breathe. There was also a sheriff on the road. The young lady was calling the ambulance and the police as we speak. The young lady was asking me, did I need to call anybody? Her mama was there too, but I didn't see her mama. Everybody was on the highway. People seen the guy go around that truck, leave the scene. If it wasn't for everybody being on that highway that day, it could have been different. I wouldn't have been here because I wasn't able to breathe. It took a minute for them to even get there because of where we were at on the highway. In these little country towns, most of them don't have a whole bunch of ambulance and police that can get to you immediately. You know what I'm saying? We were in the middle of that highway. So from one little town that had an ambulance to another little town, it's going to take about 15 minutes. So I would have been 15 minutes put to the leaning to the side without being able to breathe. You can't, baby, you won't be able to live that long. That lady to this day, I haven't seen her face. I don't know her face. I don't know her name, but I wish I can give her the biggest hug and a thank you with everything in me. I think about her a lot, because if it wasn't for that lady, I would not be here. I wouldn't be here. And if it wasn't for God, first and foremost, I wouldn't be here, because God put her in position, put everybody in position to be there at this time, because he knew what was going to happen. And the crazy part about it is, like I told you, I had the dreams, I seen the thoughts, I had the thoughts, everything had happened already. It was like God was already preparing me to be brave. Breathe. Be patient. Calm down. Because I was calm. Everybody else was freaking out. I was calm. When the ambulance got there, they was trying to put the brace on my neck. I said, wait, no, when they put the brace on my neck, they was trying, the engine had fell on my left foot. You could see the engine at the bottom of the floor of the car. The engine was on the floor, and it was on my foot and on my leg, and my leg was being burnt, and my foot was under the engine. And the fire department was like, we got to get your foot out of there so we can get you out. So they put the brace on my neck, and I was sitting there, and they had me sitting on a tire, because when the truck hit the car, the door got stuck. They had to pry the door open. And when they opened the door, I almost fell out of the car. So they had to put the tire underneath my butt so I wouldn't fall out of the car. I had something to position me, because the tires popped off of the car. That's how hard this car got hit. And the crazy part about it is the whole side of the left side of the car was on the right side of the car. We were in a Crown Vic. You know, the light that looked like the police light on the side? That light was through the window on the side of my head. That one was keeping my head in position. It could have hit me in the face. Went through my head. It was like a pole. When I look at that wreck pictures, I'll be like, Lord, nobody but you, God. But nobody but God. Nobody but God. He put every angel in position. You hear me? It was crazy. It was crazy. It was, y'all. And them angels, there are a lot of living angels, baby. It's a lot of people who have good hearts and who's there and be put in position. I know y'all could probably remember a time something happened to y'all like that. Or, you know, something happened and you was probably that angel. God is good, y'all. And I'm so thankful for him and thankful for all of the people he put into position that day, the ambulance, the police officers, everybody. Because they were trying to take my foot out from under that engine and I was being calm. And he told me, we're going to have to cut this off. That I said, no. It was hurting. But I said, no, I can do it. I'm going to take my feet out myself. I took my foot out my shoe. All I can do is look down with my eyes. And I slid my foot up out of there. I don't care how hurt I am. God had already prepared me and told me, baby, it's going to be hurtful. Something going to happen and it's going to hurt. I cried all my tears down that highway for many months, for many years. But he prepared me for what was about to happen because he knew that I had to be strong enough to get through this pain. And the crazy part about it, there was way more than just that. And I'm going to have to keep that for another video. But I'm going to have to tell y'all about after I got out the hospital. How God worked so mysteriously still in my life. And he did. He's been doing this all my life. Like when my mama died in my arms at 6 years old. All of my life, he been working with me. He been putting people in position for me. He been making sure I knew beforehand what I need to do and how I need to do it. So pay attention to God when God is talking to you. Pay attention to God when God is telling you what to do and what not to do. Pay attention to those signs and pay attention to those dreams and pay attention to everything because God ain't gonna fail you, baby. He never have and he never will. But I'm going to let y'all go, and I'll holler at y'all about this again. Y'all just comment below and let me know how you see God working in your life and how you see he put them living angels in front of you, baby, around you, baby, on the left, on the right, and on the top. You hear me? He watches over you from head to toe. I am going to talk to y'all later. Y'all stay blessed. I love y'all and take care of yourselves. Okay? Peace.